Hi guys, welcome to already another how-to video from the Begijnhoeve. My name is Tommy and in this video I would like to talk about how to make a nice contact with your horse. I get a lot of questions how to do it. In dressage it's very difficult. You want to have a connection. The connection needs to be very light as possible, but often some horses get off the bit or they get too strong or you get some troubles in the connection. There are a couple different ways to make a horse light in the contact. I would like to demonstrate you how I think you can make a nice contact. With every horse it's of course very different. You have horses, they have a little bit difficulties to accept the bit, or you have some horses, they are really strong. So what is really important in dressage is that you have, they call it acceptance of the bridle. So what means that the horse need to accept the bit. Like I said, sometimes horses get too much off the bit, so they will get too loose or behind the bit, or they get too strong. So what we teach the horses is that if you take contact with your horse, that they don't resist it, but they accept it and get nice and soft in the contact. So I would like to demonstrate how you can make the nicest contact possible. So let's go. So if you have seen our previous videos, how to warm up and how to make the transitions, I did it in this following order. Because I believe to make a really nice contact is all connected by how you warm up properly and how you make good transitions. So what is really important is that if you touch the bit, you teach the horse they're not giving any resistance and that they trust your hands. That's important. And therefore it's very important that you as a rider needs to learn how to ride correctly with your hands. That's very important. I think that the way you ride with your hands, it's all about the communication with your horse. So of course your seat and your legs and everything. But in the beginning, like if you're breaking a young horse, they don't understand your weight aid, and so you need to use your hands to give direction and all other things. And when a horse trusts your hands really well, then, people talking about a lot of mouth issues with horses, open mouth, tongue over the bit. And I think that's because the horse just doesn't accept the bridle very well. So many times it is possible to solve mouth problems if you do it on the proper way. I'm going to show you now how I think you can teach your horse to accept the bridle and have a really, really nice contact. Our number one rule in our training is, especially in the beginning, don't use your hands and your legs at the same time. So why is that? If, for example, I give leg, I want to teach my horse to go forward. But when in the same time I take contact with my hands, then you push him with your legs into your hands, which often can cause a more stronger contact. So if you have a strong horse and you want to make the contact lighter, it's important that you try in the beginning not to use your hands and your leg at the same time. If you have a horse who is too loose in the contact, then in fact you can use what I just told you. You can add your leg and your hands a little bit together to push him a little bit more into your hands. But you don't want to pull. So you always want the horse to search the contact with your hand. If you have a horse who is strong, he will search it too much. So what can you teach your horse is if you take contact with your hands, that they get soft on the contact. So what you do, you take a little bit contact. When you take a little bit contact, they will get softer. When they do, you release. So the horse understands that when it's nice, the pressure will go away. It's important that you learn to do it in a good way, that you be gentle and lovely with your hands. And if you repeat this over and over again, the horse will understand that when a horse is in a certain soft way, your hands will be soft as well. So this is the reward. You want to have a connection, but the connection must be very light and very easy and elastic. But what I try to do, if for example I feel she is getting a little bit too strong in the contact, then first thing I do, I try to do the same like I did in the halt. So I take a little bit contact. When it's ideal, they immediately get soft in the contact, like it's now, and then I can release. And when I release, I want her to stay in the same position like she was. So she's actually not allowed to change position when I release my hands. So you can, in the end, in the elements, you ride shoulder in, half pass, pirouettes. You also need to be able, and this is what the Germans call überstreichen, is that you can put your hands forward and the horse has a really nice self-carriage. So that's actually what you're doing all the time. So first you teach your horse to take contact. When they get a little softer, you give, and then you repeat. If you've seen my videos about the transitions and the warming up, if you have teach them very well to react on very small aids, which means if I use my legs really subtle and they immediately react forward, when I take the contact and I don't give leg and the horse slows down, it's going to be difficult to have the right contact, because another very important thing to have a good contact, to have them soft and chewing on the bit, is that the hind legs, the engine of the horse, are working. If I take contact and she slows down, I can hold the contact gently, go a little bit forward, because I trained her to go forward on the leg. I separated my hand and my leg aids very well already. And if you can succeed in that, did you go a little bit more forward, you have more energy, you let go your leg, and then she stays like that, she becomes softer in the contact. When that happened, I release a little bit. And then she needs to stay like this. It's very important that when you release, they won't get off the bit. When that happened, many times also something in your speed is changing. So you just have to feel again, what do I need to do? What do I need to change in the speed to get them nice in the contact again? So if you release your hands and they're running away, it probably is necessary to slow them down. If you slow them down and they stop too much with the hind legs themselves, then you need to go forward. So it's exactly the same like in the transitions. So every time when it's good, I try to just relax. When she stays like this, I do nothing, it's fine. When she starts pulling, in this case, then I take a really gently contact and I see what she's doing with the speed. Now you see she stops and she starts pulling more, because I lose the energy of the hind legs. If I would push my legs and hold the contact too much, in many cases the horses get stronger. So first, I just keep my hand in a quiet position. I speed up, so I will have the energy. Then I close my hand and I try. She's not doing it well right now, because she's trying to be unsteady in the contact. This is already better. Now I release and then I lose it. I take contact. She slows down. I go forward. When she doesn't give a good reaction on the leg, then I really have to let go of the reins and then make a transition forward, because when I want to hold the contact too much and I want to make power in the hind legs, then they get more strong in the contact. So don't worry if the position of your horse is changing when you make some corrections. The goal here is that when you take slightly contact, that they get soft in the contact. So I'm going to do the same now a little bit in the trot. I already warmed up. So I test if I can let go of the contact now, and if she stays like this. Well, it's pretty good. I think, I can't see it, but then I'm going to test what happens if I take a little bit contact. Does she get soft on it? does she start pull on it, or does she just get too loose? And that's what you're also testing all the time besides the speed control. So you take a little bit contact. When she immediately accepts it and soft, you will release the contact and she needs to stay the same. If she doesn't, you can repeat, and if that's not working, you go back to the transitions again, like I told in the previous video. So it's kind of connected to each other. It's not that, I mean, if you do a really good warm-up and you make really good transitions, many times the contact of your horse also is getting a lot better. If you try to do this in the walk, trot or canter and you can't succeed, you always can go back to the halt, and because then you have just only one thing to think about. It's a lot easier. You take a little bit contact and you give. It's important that you do it equal on both reins so that you don't do too much like a left and right. It gives you an unsteady contact, and when they chew on the bit, I think it's not because they accept the bit, but you make them too loose by flushing the bit, and that's not what you want. So the nicest contact you get when you have a really nice steady position and a softness in your hands. So it's the same in the canter. So when you think you have a nice contact, you try, can I give? So the horse stays the same. If he starts pulling, you take a little bit contact and then feel. If the horse slows down, you have to go a little bit forward. There you go. Then she gets softer and I can release. And every time by playing with this, testing, can I release my hands? Yes, I can. But the next step, can I take contact? And does the horse stay nice and elastic in the contact? And when they've put too much resistance, then it's not good. So you have to really teach them to accept your hand, and that they have to experience that your hands are not a thing to be scared of. So I believe it's very important that you every time really gentle with your hands, you touch the bit. The moment they relaxes, even if it's a little bit, you already release your hands, so they know that when they get soft, it gets really soft and easy for them as well. So now it looks kind of okay. So it's actually a bit simple now. So what you can do when the contact is very easy, you can add a little bit more energy into your horse, and then probably you will lose the nice contact. But then, for example, when I go forward, I first release my hand, then I go forward, otherwise I make them stronger in the contact. Then I take the contact and I try to teach the horse to stay in this speed, and I wait a little bit, the same like in the halt, until she gets softer in the contact. The moment I feel she does it, like now, I release my hands. And then I can even go more forward. And then when I'm in this speed, I can also take a little bit contact. I wait until she's accepting and soft, and then I release my hands again. And then it gets a lot easier when they understand this to have a really nice supple contact in every kind of speed, every kind of situation you are. And of course, it's going to be very important that you as a rider all the time feel really well how and when the horses get soft. For example, when this is also important that you are loose in your shoulders and loose in your hands, because when you're sitting like this and then you're too blocked, you can't feel if the horse gets supple. So you really need to be sitting elastic. That's also very important. And don't be scared, again, I'm telling this all the time, don't be scared that it goes wrong, that your horse make a mistake. Just let the mistake happen. So every time test, can I release? Is it stay fine? Can I release? Does he stays fine? Yes. Can I take contact? Does he still accept the bridle and she doesn't give any resistance? If yes, I immediately reward her also by letting the pressure go away. And again, the pressure needs to be very soft. If a horse starts pulling and you are in the position where you want to pull back too much yourself, don't do it and keep on riding. Then you make a transition, or you go back to halt, you teach her to be soft again and let go. So if you apply this kind of riding with your horse, then they're really going to understand what it means to get soft in the contact. And this is actually how I always try to make the contact of the horses nice and soft. If you really be consistent and knowing what you want, and you can teach your horse one thing at a time. So don't try to fix and the speed and the contact and the position. Always try to find one thing which is most necessary at that moment before you move on to the next thing. If you can try to do it like this, I hope your horse will also get a nicer contact. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them down this video. Thumbs up if you like it, and if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to subscribe on our channel. See you next video.